God damn. God damn.
Well, guys, here we are. It is episode 299, and this is the first episode of 2026 of NHP, man. It's crazy. We have finally made it. We are here, and we are officially 1 week away from episode 300. Wild.
It's insane. That's fucking insane. Does not feel like it. Very excited. I'm so pumped, man. It's crazy. Does not feel like we're at 299.
We've been on here 299 different times with the stream. Wild. Very wild. But how's everybody doing? Thank you guys for joining us for yet again another edition of NHP. This is your episode of the Friday news. Thank you guys again for joining us here for another edition of it. We do not have predictions. We won't have predictions for a while, which is wild in itself. But
It's insane.
but we do have a bunch of news to go over here today with you guys, man. We got everything from news on Jacob Fatu, news on Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, The Rock, Vince McMahon, bunch of news here today for you guys, man. So how's everybody doing? Like I said, if this is your first time watching, guys, do not know the show works every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Central. We are on here with Unscripted. And every Friday at 3 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news. And with that being said, if you guys did miss this past Tuesday's edition of the 2025 Rewind 2026 predictions, you guys can now watch that on all platforms. That is Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and if you want to see it first, join us right here live on YouTube Tuesdays. Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Central. So, also, if you guys did miss the NHG episode from yesterday of the WWE 2K25, man, your boys finally hopped on, played the game. It was a boatload of fun. It was simultaneously hilarious. So if you guys want to go watch that episode of Notorious Gaming, you guys can now watch that. That is available for you guys on YouTube, man. So with that being said, if you guys have not got a chance to pick up some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can now find this live on the merch shop. That is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man, where you get this beautiful piece of Notorious merchandise live on there as we speak. Again, that is bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man. And with that being said, if this is your first time watching and you guys do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. Sir K, go ahead and let everybody know what it is you are smiling about today.
You know, it's an January, so it's an interesting time. It's right after the holidays. Right before, everything pops off of wrestling. WrestleMania season begins. The Revolution, Double or Nothing season begins, which is actually also pretty solidly big for AEW. So, really, for all of wrestling, this period from December through January is pretty much of a dead period. If it wasn't for Cena, we would really have been dead. And that's basically all of 2025. You could say that for too, but just been chilling, man. Just been chilling. Just been waiting for things to, waiting for the things we got going on, man. Very excited for all that. We got year-end awards, man. Been doing all that. So been exciting, man. Been exciting. But other than that, like Toronto always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How is everybody doing in the live chat? How's everyone doing watching the replay? What about you, bro? How are you doing?
I am doing interesting. For some odd fucking reason, your boy has a headache. And it's like on my forehead and it's also on the back of my head, which is very annoying. So if I seem a little slower today, or maybe not my normal energized self, that is why. We're pulling through. It's not horrible, but it is horrible at the same time. If that does make any sense. It could be worse. I've definitely had a worse headache, but bro, I was telling you before, man, this is the most I was telling you before we went live, this is the most simultaneous amount of times that I've ever felt like shit. I mean, Jesus, usually my immune system is pretty kick ass and I usually don't feel like shit hardly ever. But dude, the end of 2025 has gave the middle finger to your boy, I
Yeah.
guess, in the health department. So I don't know, but what I do know is I am doing good, and it is a very exciting time for NHP, and it's a very exciting time to do what we do here, man. And yeah, but other than that, just enjoyed the new year. Hope you guys enjoyed, had a safe new year. um, and I hope 2026 does treat you all very, very well, man. So, um, yeah, that is that. But like I was saying, it's a very exciting time to be a listener of NHP. It's a very exciting time to be a to do what we do here at Notorious Heels, man, because well, I gotta do it to you, man. Tomorrow we have the 2025 year-end award preview show. We will be revealing nominees for each category, as well as open voting for you guys begins as well, man. So I'm very, very, very excited to do the preview show tomorrow. Very excited for that, man. As like I said, it is always one of my favorite times of the year here at Notorious Heels, man. And like I said, we will be revealing nominees for the categories. And speaking of the categories, here are your categories that we will be going over. Tomorrow, men's superstar, women's superstar, tag team, faction, show, moment, match, return / debut, letdown, worst booking decision, and the Your Time Is Now award. Again, basically what that award is our prediction award for the year 2026 onto who is going to make that world title leap in their class, man. So, like I said, preview show tomorrow. We will be revealing the nominees for all of these 11 categories, as well as open voting for you all will begin that day as well. And again, that is tomorrow, Saturday, January 3rd at 3 p.m. Central. So, yeah, about the same time tomorrow, we will
Excited.
be on here with the preview show, man. So, yes, sir.
I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I can't wait. Love your end award season, man. I love seeing your guys' votes and oh, I can't wait, man. I can't wait to see. I love seeing it over the span of that week. Just the votes and the votes, and I love it.
Yes. And also, too, the actual year-end award show, as you can see on your screen, will be exactly in 1 week and a day on January 10th, 2026. So Saturday, January 10th, we will be revealing the winners. My winner, Sir K's winner, and the winner of the fan vote for each category, man. So very, very, very excited. Like I said, tomorrow, 3 p.m. Central. Be there or be square because it is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm excited for you guys to see the list that we have put together for the end of 2025, man. So we got a bunch of WWE stories to go over here today with you guys. We also do have some AEW stories, man. So we have 3 AEW stories. So we're going to start you guys off with those first. We're going to start you guys off with those first, as we got Kenny Omega. Oh, brother.
Oh, God, what did I say? What did I literally say on Tuesday? What
Well,
did we say on Tuesday?
dude, I was just going to talk about that. Kenny Omega. this story came out before Dynamite. And obviously, now that we've watched Dynamite, or maybe you didn't, but I'll fill you in. This story came out before Dynamite, and this is according to Fightful. There are some in AEW pushing for Kenny Omega to be in the AEW World Title picture. And again, in case you haven't watched Dynamite, MJF brought back the Triple B, and while he was bringing it back, there was a vignette that played over the screen that was one Kenny Omega. And he was challenging MJF for the World Championship. And I sent it to you guys, and I said, oh my God, they're doing it.
They done did it. They're fucking doing it. They're about to have this broken down ass man be in the world title scene, man. Oh my God. I'm gonna say this in the most respectful way possible. That man is about to get the outpace of the century. That is insane.
So, let's go ahead and read some old news stories, if you will. Right? Is that all right with you, Sir K? You ready to read some old news stories?
All right.
Okay.
I'm okay with it, man, because I know what it pertains to.
Okay, well, let's start off with this story from October 3rd. October. So they've known about this for a while. Are you ready? Are you sure you're ready for this?
Okay. I am ready.
You're ready for a lot of things, but are you ready for this? I don't know if you're ready for this. So,
I'm ready for that. Go ahead.
This guy. According to Uncle Dave, on October 3rd at 8:19 in the morning, he put out a story. AEW decided to delay Kenny Omega versus Kyle Fletcher as Kenny Omega is not 100%. And the feeling is that he would not be able to do the kind of match he'd expect to do with Fletcher. Okay, there's one for you. Now, I got another one.
Keep them coming.
So, maybe one would say, oh, okay. They also go on to say Kenny Omega's physical condition is not 100%. No, okay, never mind. I just read that. All right. And then 1 month later, at the end of November, November 29th, Uncle Dave put out a story that said AEW are trying to avoid putting Kenny Omega in long singles matches. And that is the reason they put him back with the Young Bucks, so he can continue to do trios matches. And now, 1 month after that, on December 27th, Fightful is reporting they are pushing for Omega to be in the world title picture. Homie.
Morons.
Y'all have known about this. And if you fucking watch the guy, he is a broke down three-wheeling wagon right now. He don't got no wheels. He don't got no oil. He don't got no struts. He don't got no muffler. He don't got no fucking spark plugs. He don't got no gas at all. He's not even on fumes. He got no gas. He don't got no spark plugs. He got a bunch of misfires going on. And we want him in the world title picture, which bringing us back to the Fletcher one. He won't be able to work long singles matches. Guys, he's facing MJF. Is that not going to have to be a long singles match? It's for the world championship. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? Honestly. Sir K, what are we doing?
I don't. We literally have said this for a year, over a year now, that this man Kenny, I love him, but man, oh man, he is bloated, he is pale, he is broken the fuck down. He is no gas, all brakes with it. He ain't got nothing. He ain't got nothing in the tank. The tank is empty. The tank is rusted out, and the muffler fell off, dude. And I love the guy, and it's sad to see
It
because
is.
on paper. I want the man to be at fucking 2017 level in AEW. I always wanted that. It's just not possible, man. And they
Yeah.
know it's not possible because they have literally stuff has come out that you just read that they have literally purposely put him in not even tag trios competition to protect him that much. Bro, they didn't even got to put Jey Uso in trios. They got to put that motherfucker back in tags. I mean, they got to put Kenny in trios. That's how
Wow.
gassed that man gets. That's how broken down the man gets. Cause he's fucking broken down. He could, if he wasn't broken down, he could still go. But the fucking the axle broke, dude. Your wheels bent in. You're screwed. And it sucks to see. And they're really gonna attempt to put this man in the world title scene. So desperate, and the fans are eating it up. And like, do you not see on your screen how unhealthy that man looks? How
Dude.
broken down that man looks? You don't feel bad for wanting him at work? Like, what? I don't get it. It's gonna fail, unfortunately, man. And it just sucks to see with Kenny, man. It really does suck to see with Kenny. You snapshot him in his prime years. He is genuinely probably the best wrestler in ring to ever do it.
Bro.
And man, it sucks seeing people basically have to still force themselves to be around because I get you love it, but your body's not for it anymore.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I want to reiterate when me and Sir K talk about this, and we talk about it all the time, this comes genuinely from a place of love, okay? We love Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
And again, I don't mean to sound like I'm baking the dude, but bro, you just gotta understand, and I understand that he's got a passion and he's got a love for the game. I get it. I'm sure that's why he's still stuck around this long, right? Is just off of the love for the game. But at the end of the day, when you can't go and when you're outstaying your physical welcome, you're outstaying your physical welcome. And I hate to say that for Kenny because I really do think he still can go to an extent. What I think is holding him back, AEW does not give him a long enough break. And I get maybe he wants to retire soon. So, like, maybe he doesn't want to take the break. But at the end of the day, I would rather Kenny, if he feels like he has to take a long break and he's just too old, then just retire at the end of the day because you're not doing your body any favors. And Kenny, we get it. We seen what you put yourself through. It's not like, you know, we haven't seen your prime years and, you know, all we seen is an old broke down Omega because early AEW Kenny Omega looked different. He was able to wrestle. He was physically looked like he was in shape. Kenny, you've been through a lot, and we know that. You've been through multiple G1s. You've been through all these fucking matches that are just grueling on your body that we've seen. And to top it all off, we know you got diverticulitis. So we know obviously that put a huge physical, you know, damper on, you know, the longevity of Kenny Omega, and it is okay. It is okay. And I'm saying, and again, I'm saying this, I'm saying this from a point of unselfishness because selfishly, I would love to fucking see Kenny Omega wrestle for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
Selfishly, but unselfishly, if you gotta hang it up and it's time, I get it. Okay. Again, why we're putting him in, we just talked about, Gotti mentioned, first of all, Mr. Walk him down and cut they shit off. The owner of GDR
How you
Finances
doing, bro?
LLC, Mr. Walk him down and cut they shit off. Mr. Walk him down and cook that shit up. Mr. Walk him down and run that marathon. Mr. Walk him down and climb that tree. Mr. Walk him down and feed them families is here. We got my brother Gotti Devon in the chat. Gotti, I need a favor. I need you to check your DMs on IG. Also, he says Cena also has a love for the game, but you got to hang it up when you got to hang it up. This Kenny Omega is what Cena didn't want. That is correct. That is absolutely correct, man. Cena talked a lot about, you know, the Cena talked a lot about, you know, the physical outstaying your physical welcome towards the end of it. And he said, you guys may say, no, you can still go, which Cena could still go, but it's not just about what you see on television. Like he was kind of explaining, it was an interview I watched of him. He was explaining, like, you guys just see, you know, the final product. You guys see what I put on television, but there's the preparation. There is how long it takes you to, you know, take your shoes off after the match. There's all those things that go into it. And obviously those things are tough. You know, as you get older, the preparation for a match, when you're done with a match, you know, how, you know, just how, you know, beat up you feel after a match. Once that starts bleeding onto television, and you can basically, again, with Omega, it bleeds out onto television. You could tell he's a shell of his former self. So I can only imagine the preparation and the work post walking through the curtain is probably even worse. So
Oh,
again,
sure.
why did we put him back with the Elite if we were just going to put him in a world title situation, which is a situation you know he can't uphold? You know he can't. Tony Khan has done a lot of good for AEW in the year of 2025, but one thing he's not done a good job at is the handling of Kenny Omega, because this is just fucking sad at this point. I'm sorry, but it just is.
It really is. It's genuinely so fucking sad, man. And it's annoying and frustrating to see. And they're gonna attempt it. It's not gonna work out. And then it's obvious it's not gonna work out. Just let the man just retire respectfully. You have to physically, like you guys said, it's the Cena thing. Cena wanted to avoid being Kenny Omega essentially, and he
Yeah.
got to. And I think
Look
Kenny
at
Omega should avoid being Kenny.
like Jericho or like The Undertaker. These are guys that have,
Yeah.
you know, outstayed their welcome physically. And it took them a lot longer because they worked a safer WWE style. And that's why I say, Kenny, we get it. You didn't get the luxury of working a WWE style. Your prime was in New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, we know. We know. We've seen how beat up you are, bro, and we get it. But at the end of the day, when you've outstayed your physical welcome, and when Father Time has called you, Father Time has called, bro, and there's nothing you could do about it, man. So I get it, but it does suck. Um, and Sir K put it into an amazing perspective, I think. They put Kenny Omega in trios matches. All they had to do to help Jey Uso was put him in tag matches. To help Kenny, they had to put him in fucking
Broken
trios.
down these
Trios.
and tree and that's what the Bucks too, the ultimate carry job tag team in the world. They carried the Hardys. They could carry anybody to a fucking great match.
Yep.
They have to carry their homeboy in the moments of the few moments he gets in the ring, so the rest of the time they could spend in the ring and he could do the recovery. That in trio settings, that's not good, dude.
No, not at all. Not at all. So, speaking of Chris Jericho, Sports Illustrated. Well, first, Alex McCarthy is reporting that Chris Jericho's AEW contract will be expiring on December 31st. And John Alba of Sports Illustrated is further reporting on the situation that multiple higher ups in AEW are under the impression that Chris Jericho is done with the company and will be returning to the WWE. With that being said, Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting there are some in WWE circles, specifically some WWE licensees, who are under the belief that Chris Jericho will soon be available for them to use on their products. So, there is a nasty rumor that I've heard going around. And again, this is just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. I really hope it's not true. Sir K loves this idea, but when I told it to him, but he
Bad.
there is a rumor going around, I heard, that Chris Jericho, and again, it's a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that WWE wanted Chris Jericho for the Rumble in Saudi Arabia, and and they have moved their plans up to January 5th because it is a because it's a Stranger Things collab. They were gonna have him appear and enter WWE through the Upside Down and play Judas, which first of all, how do you feel about him using Judas in WWE? And secondly, how do you feel about them using the Stranger Things collab in this type of sense? Or would you just rather see him at the Royal Rumble?
I would 100% rather just see him at the Royal Rumble. I mean, I am genuinely expecting the drizzling shits with some of the Stranger Things collabs, so I wouldn't be shocked. But but I definitely prefer him in the Rumble. I'm very scared. Side note, I'm very scared for that Punk and Braun match. That's the one they're really advertising the Stranger Things collab for, and I feel like they're gonna pull some weird shit with that match. But talking to Chris Jericho, talking about Chris Jericho, um, in a way, it is so hilariously bad. I want it to happen because it's what I expect for the year of 2025 with this company already. I have no faith in Triple H whatsoever to do anything good for most of the show. So I actually wouldn't even be that mad. I would just be just hilarious. It would just be so hilariously bad if they did that. And as for his music, it's tough, dude, because I do love Judas as his theme song, and I think like as a theme song, it's so perfect. And I think overall, it's my favorite theme song of his. But it's been so long, and he has used Judas for so long. I think it's going to be so fresh to hear, break the walls down again. So I would say at least first go and break down the walls because that is a classic. It is a banger, and I would love to hear it. Although I love Judas, and I would eventually like him to start using it, I want to hear break the walls down first, man. But that's just my opinion. What about you, man?
Uh, well, uh, yeah, we talked about predictions for WWE for 2026 on Tuesday. That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. I have mentioned how they're going to continue to get more money hungry, and how TKO is going to be able to get more greedy and whatnot with what they are doing, and yeah, kind of aligning with that topic, I guess, is these crossover shows that they're gonna do and all these little stupid things that they're gonna want to do. So I could very well see them doing something like that with Chris Jericho. Personally, man, I would save him for the Rumble, especially the people in Saudi. The people in Saudi, they know they know a lot more of the older people, which I'll say they've gotten a lot better to like the current product, but they still can, be fairly quiet for some people. I think Chris Jericho is going to get a great pop over there. I think he would. In terms of him joining WWE through the Upside Down, again, it doesn't shock me. It's something that it's something that I could very well see happening. I mean, it's just a very WWE thing to do, especially Again, we know how corny WWE can be sometimes, so I could very well see something like that happening. Um, Again, it's hilarious. You use the term hilariously bad. That's the term you can use for something like that. As for Judas, personally, I don't want to see Judas. At least like you said, at least to start. I don't really want to hear Judas. I want to hear the OG break the walls down. I want to hear that very bad. Um I want to hear that very bad. It has been since 2017. It's almost been 10 years since we've heard that song. Uh Judas Judas is a great theme song, but again, we've heard it the whole time in AEW, man. I think it would be a nice change of pace for him to go back to using his OG WWE song personally. So I want to see Break the Walls Down. I don't really uh you know, I wouldn't mind him using Judas if he, brought like his Painmaker character to WWE. Something like that. Something like that I think would be really dope. But in terms of like just Jericho coming back in general, I think Break the Walls Down is the theme song to use for him. So, and don't let Def Rebel remix it, please. So
I
yeah,
didn't think about that.
that is the news for Chris Jericho. It looks like he will be on his way back to WWE. Whether it will be through the upside down or not, I really fucking hope not. Again, I would just debut him in the Royal Rumble personally.
Most definitely. I think that's the best course of action.
Even better question for you. If he
But
debuts at the Royal Rumble, what do you do with Chris Jericho at WrestleMania?
I, that's a great question. I don't think the writers' room knows yet, but
Oh, fuck no.
you know they don't. Man, fuck. I I thought I had some earlier like a few weeks ago, but I forgot it, dude. I genuinely right now, that's the one spot I can't think of. Do you got something for Jericho?
Maybe Sammy? Maybe Sammy?
Hmm. Okay.
Or
I like that.
maybe for AJ's last WrestleMania, you get Y2 AJ back together?
Oh God.
You know
Okay.
what tag team I want to see? Because everybody was marking out for it. Everybody was marking out for. I remember there was like these fake graphics being made, and it's a hilariously bad tag team. I want to see. I genuinely want to see it, just off the idea of how bad it is. I want to see Y2 Yeet. That's what I want to see.
Oh, dude, I've been seeing it's people put fucking Henry in the group too. What was the fucking
What the
triple
fuck?
name of those
Oh,
guys? It was oh fuck, it was Y2 Yeetry or something like that. I was like, dude, that is
somehow,
so fucking dog shit. It would be amazing.
somehow that got even better. You add Joe Hendry in that. You know what? I could see them putting Jericho against Joe Hendry at
I could
WrestleMania.
actually, I could very much see that actually.
Especially because, Jericho's, a singer. Joe Hendry's like a fucking knockoff rock with his singing. So I
Yeah,
could very well see something along those lines. But no, I want to see Y2 Yeet, man. I think that would be the fucking greatest, worst tag team of all time. And the name is pretty cool. Y2 Yeet.
why do you eat? Is the real question, man.
Yeah. Our final story for AEW is about the one and only, the goat of all goats, the hologram.
Okay. Alright.
This is coming off the news that El Clan is making his in-ring debut soon.
Do you get
Yeah, he hasn't debuted yet.
it debuted like 3 months ago. Oh my god.
Yeah, no debut from
There
El
wasn't
Clan.
there wasn't random collision bullshit he was doing. He just never debuted in the ring.
Yeah, never. Never.
That is fucking
I
hilarious.
thought the same thing.
Tony Khan is hilarious. He's an hilarious man. He really is.
The only thing is, this is not hilarious. This is serious business. This is AEW's feud between Hologram and El Clan. So there's very serious business taking place here. As Hologram is, according to Brian Alvarez, still a long way away from returning. Darn it.
Oh,
Hologram, man, how you feeling about this, man? I'm pretty sure this has got to be beating you up, dude. Hologram's not going to be back for a long time. What's going through your mind?
I'm fucking devastated, man. I need him to come back. He better win the C2 next year, man, because I need hologram, dude. I'm just missing the gram. You know what I mean? Um, Man, that's something, man. Tony Khan, his creations, the Tony Khan creations. We always talk about it with like show names and whatnot, but goddamn, hologram is such a Tony Khan creation. He is
Oh yeah.
Power Ranger hologram, like computer character, I guess, whatever he is. Fucking hilarious, bro. Tony Khan is a funny man.
Yeah, it really is such a Tony Khan AEW thing. I mean, the guy walked around with a fucking giant light up H on his fucking chest for crying out loud. So, so Hologram's still a long way from returning, and I guess I'll have to wait even longer to see Hologram versus El Clan. And it does break my heart a little bit, but I am wishing Hologram a speedy recovery. They said he was going to be back early 2026. Seems he's still a long way away from returning. And I hope El Clan has a great career, man, because I genuinely don't know why he hasn't debuted yet. But he is debuting now. Which would make me believe that Hologram would be coming back soon, but I guess not. So we will see. And until then, I just know the eventual feud between Hologram and El Clan is going to feed families. We haven't even seen El Clan with
Hilarious.
the Don Callis family. We haven't seen a lot of
No,
people with them. We haven't seen like Lance
no.
Archer in one of their segments lately, or like RPG Vice. We've hardly
Yeah,
seen
thank
we've
both.
only seen the important members lately, which is great.
I know. It's been nice. I hope they like low key basically just dropped the fucking the duds of the group and just really focused on their main three. Because Lance a loser, fucking Outclawn, RPG Vice, and that fucking they still keep the doorknob around, but other than that, he's like the only dud they still keep around. So yeah, it's actually been nice with them.
Yeah, that fucking freak, Josh Alexander. So
Fucking
the DCF's doorknob, Josh Alexander. Well, that is actually everything for AEW, man. And with that being said, we do have an official word from our sponsor. Here at NHP, we got a word from W Energy. W is an energy drink loaded with vitamins and nootropics formulated to improve focus without getting the jitters. W is a clean formula that is sugar-free, zero-calorie, free from fillers and artificial colorings, with 150 milligrams of caffeine per serving. You can get your W products today with the link below and code NHP at checkout. Save yourselves 10% on your next W purchase.
really always got to shout out W, man. Whether workout, whatever you may need the energy for. Going into the new year, if you want to be up, ready, energized for the new year, man, Nick W's got you, man. We got a lot of things coming up. You want to be with us for all we got coming up, man. You can't sleep on it. You cannot sleep on it. We got year-end awards, episode 300, and then we got the whole WrestleMania season, man. So if you want to stay up, want to be focused through all of it for 2026, W's got you. Won't let you down. keep you energized, won't have the jitters, and it'll taste good all at the same time. Truly, always gotta shout out Dubby.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're definitely going to need it for WrestleMania season. But,
Fuck
yeah,
yeah.
that is the official word from our sponsor. Thank you, as always, to the great people over at W, the official sponsor of what we do here at Notorious Heels. So, WWE. Well, let's go ahead and talk about some old news. Because, according to Post Wrestling, new court filings show that Vince McMahon was involved in WWE's creative process leading up to Mania 39, which counters Nick Khan's statement on CNBC that Vince McMahon had no involvement in creative. The court filings show text messages that Vince McMahon sent in a group chat where he said, "Hey guys, just double checking. Does Roman and Cody know the new creative WrestleMania and next year?" Bruce, or as Sir K calls him, Deuce Pritchard, says, he responds back to him. He says, "Not to my knowledge. I don't know if Paul has had a conversation with either." Roman, of course he didn't. Roman's first appearance since we spoke is Friday in DC. Both will be there in person. Well, we've definitely heard a lot about the power struggle between Vince and Triple H during this time. Does this shock you at all? That Vince McMahon was still involved in the creative? I mean, I don't know if you remember, but, there was that whole story around this time that Vince McMahon was at Mania 39 in his own separate gorilla by himself. He was just in a room by himself, like he was on fucking timeout. So, there's, there's that. But does this shock you at all that it is pretty much officially confirmed now?
Yes and no, in a way. Like, yes, that like they really did still kind of keep bro around, but like also at the same time not shade. It's a weird one where I'm simultaneously a little am, but not at all shocked. I mean, I think it's funny that bro was still talking to them after all that shit, and he was still giving creative, at least advice or whatever ideas, whatever it may have been. And he's still basically just talking shit about Paul while he's doing it, which is wild, man. It's wild, but I don't know, man. I'm shocked and I'm not. It's weird with Vince, man, especially around that time. It was so fresh, but like WWE felt so new. It was weird. It was a weird time for them. So I'm not shocked they kind of still kept bro in limbo, but
It
d-
seems like they
um,
need to go back to the half Triple H, half Vince McMahon system, because that's when the fucking product was at its best.
apparently, apparently, man. But what do you think about this, man? Because it's been weird. I've been seeing it all over. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah, I mean, we have heard a lot about, during this time there was that big power struggle. Who's really in charge? Is it Paul? Is it Vince? Is it fucking Paul? Well, now that Paul fully does have fucking control, he's an idiot. But regardless, going back to WrestleMania 39, you know, it it yeah, I'm sitting in the same boat as you. It does shock me, but it doesn't, because for the product to be that good and Vince McMahon to still kind of be involved in the weeds like we heard about all those years ago, it does shock me a little bit, because the product felt so fresh and it felt so good. So to know that Vince was, semi behind that is, a bit odd. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, it doesn't shock me because, I mean, we all know how, just power hungry Vince McMahon was. But yeah, I'm kind of split down the middle because, like I said, the product had never felt better. The product had never fucking felt better than it did in 2022 and 2023. It didn't. So, um, to actually, I guess get the confirmation that, Vince McMahon was, still was involved is really crazy, man. But speaking of Mania 39, Dave Meltzer is reporting that Roman Reigns was the one who pitched Cody losing at Mania 39, but Vince McMahon had the final say at the time. That to me is wild. Because again, we heard about a power struggle. This just seems like Triple H was just a decoy and he wasn't really in charge. He was, but he wasn't. Which really does make you wonder, like, now that Triple H fully does have control, like, does he need Vince's help to be successful? Like, and that's weird to say, but like, it begs the question.
It begs a lot of questions, man. Like, like at the time when we, all the in the weed stuff and the power struggle was happening, my perspective on it was, Triple H is the boss now, but a lot of people still, just listen to Vince because, he's Vince and he's, the original boss
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And I thought it was more of just legacy that people still like listened and took his opinion on
Right.
stuff. But to come to find out, he actually literally had say in creative. That's the shocking part. And it's wild to think like
Yep.
what, who really made who and who is writing what back there, man.
Yeah.
It's very, very weird to look at and think about like what's actually going on back there because, you know, maybe that's another reason why Triple H really loves this new kayfabe and whatnot because it really, visually puts him at the center of everything when maybe it's not him at the center, but he wants to be at the center. Maybe WWE as a whole wants him at the center to just assume it's him. I don't know, man. This brings up a whole lot of fucking weird ass conspiracy shit, but it's weird, man. The final say part is the craziest part to me. That's the shocking part.
Yeah. So, Dave says it was Roman Reigns' call. I mean, Vince had to approve it, but Roman was the one who went to Vince with the idea and pitched the idea that it would be better. It would be more meaningful if he didn't win the first time. We build to a bigger one the second time and explained it. I think Heyman with Reigns did that. I think they were very persuasive. The argument's very strong with the benefit of hindsight that they were right because the second year was much bigger than the first year. I don't know about that, but Vince made the final call and Levesque was on board with the call. Of course he was. But Vince was the one who made the call. Vince was the one who had final say at that point. He had final say at the time, or he had final say the whole time. He was the chairman of the board or whatever. He was in charge of the company, and he remained having the final say, even though Levesque was in charge of creative. So going back to the conversation about Paul Levesque and Vince McMahon, it really makes me wonder, like, if things were better because they were broken up. Because it seems like, maybe, and this is just me putting my conspiracy theory cap on, but like, we always talk about, like, in order to run WWE creative, it feels like things would be more organized if people had, like, set things they were in charge of. It seems like Vince McMahon only took care of the big shit. Meanwhile, like, Triple H was in charge of everything that Vince didn't give a fuck about. Like, Triple H was in charge of like the IC title, and that's why it felt so big, was because Triple H was able to kind of put all of his, thoughts into that. And Vince, on the other hand, he didn't really give a shit about the IC title, so he was kind of just like, oh, you take care of that, or you take care of all the little shit on television, and just, let me take care of what's in my main events. So it really makes me wonder, like, is that why focus has been so off with Triple H? Because now that he's taken on controlling, like, the main event scene, now he doesn't really give a shit about anything else? It makes you
Like it
wonder.
was, yeah, because that was like the original Vince problem is that, certain things just didn't give a fuck about, and there would just be massive gaps and just energy in a whole division. And now we're kind of back to that problem. And I don't know if it's like because of the individual people or like you're saying, it's more of the system itself. Did Triple H just find himself in the same situation Vince was in where he's so focused on the top, he don't give a fuck about the rest of the show. And, that's why we say you have a team to delegate thing to thing to.
Yep.
Um, but I think that might be the problem, man. And I think this shows that like this is the problem as a booker because I think Tony Khan was having that same problem for a while, and it's one of those
Yeah.
things where you have to have a team and you have to delegate focus. You can't you're not, you only have two arms. You can only do so much, and you can only reach so far. And that is very obvious as a wrestling booker.
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder, like, do all these bookers have that same simultaneous problem of taking on too much and they can't shoulder all of it? So
Oh,
so
exactly.
speaking of the decision itself, couple questions for you. Was
Uh,
Roman correct? Do you think this was the right idea for Roman to pitch that it would be bigger? And do you think it was bigger the second time around? Do you agree with Uncle Dave?
That's a double-edged sword because I think it was better, and I think they did make the right decision to extend it. At the time, I didn't think it. Obviously, I was fucking furious at the time. I thought they were just doing LOL Roman wins, but
Yeah.
it was. I think in the long run, it did matter. I don't know if I made the individual moment for Cody himself bigger. I think it made the match and the scenario bigger. I don't know if it was because just the weight, but more of, The Rock and Seth and all their involvement. I think that's what made it bigger. I don't think the weight itself made it bigger, but I think Roman and Paul made the right decision. I don't know if, creative was completely their thought process besides with that. Maybe I mean, I'm sure Roman also wanted just the fucking accolade of going past that 1,000 days. I mean, who wouldn't? You're at that point already.
Right.
Might as well just fucking hit that 1,000 days. Um, so I really don't blame him for that. But I don't know. It's funny because it's such like a thing where it's like I think it was the right decision, and I think WrestleMania 40 did feel really big in terms of that moment and that match. But I don't think it's because of the weight. I think it's because of everything else involved that got to build it up. Maybe that's what they meant by the weight is they wanted to, you know, get more involvement, make the mountain bigger. But it's funny, but I overall think they did make the right decision. But what about you?
1000% they made the right decision. Again, in hindsight,
I
or
hate it.
sorry, at the time, um, I hated it. I was like, dude, what are we doing? Like, this is some Vince McMahon shit. But when you look at the year-long story that they told after that, yes, it did make 40 more predictable. The reason I like 39 better is that felt so unpredictable. It felt so unpredictable. In terms of like, a lot of people used the term at the time game 7 atmosphere. That's what it felt like. it,
Yes.
it felt like everybody was just waiting for the pin to drop, but in terms of who was going to win the match. But it was great. And as for Roman winning, I think it served the character of Roman Reigns a lot better. I think it really solidified him as the final boss of the company, and I really think it solidified him, in my personal opinion, as the greatest final boss that the company has ever seen. In terms of like, he is the best, in my opinion, he is the best main roster, main event heel I've ever seen. I like he just felt, and we used the term at the time a lot. Obviously, Roman used the term at the time. It just felt like he was in God mode. He just felt like a fucking god out there. And him beating Cody to build to the next year, and Cody, getting back to Roman, I thought was absolutely the right call. I thought they made the right call. WrestleMania 39 is, to this day, my favorite WrestleMania I've ever seen, and this match is largely because of it. So, um, this match is largely because of it. So, yeah, that's my opinion on the whole thing. I think that it did build to WrestleMania 40 great. It made WrestleMania 40 a little more predictable, but it didn't take away from the moment at all. You know what I mean? I wasn't sitting there like, oh, Cody finally won. I knew this was coming. Like, no, it was still a good moment. It was still dope to see Cody, win the world championship and defeat Roman Reigns. But as for Mania 39, again, at the time I hated it, but that's how it was supposed to make you feel. Yeah, I thought it absolutely was the right call. And again, this match is a big part of the reason as to why this WrestleMania is one of my favorites of my favorite Mania I've ever seen. So
100%. And that Roman Reigns is just so special, man, because his story is like so perfect as a final boss. Because his story was, he Roman Reigns individually, he realistically could have beat all the people he beat anyway, but like he relied so much on his own bloodline and his family that he couldn't beat them without them, not because he couldn't, but because he couldn't think he could. And it's such a great way to do a villain, man. I loved it, man. It was so great.
yes, how he was like the most powerful dude in the company, yet so insecure. To
So exactly. When he
so
could do it all himself, but
yeah,
he just believed he couldn't,
yep.
so he couldn't without them. It was perfect, man. It was beautiful.
It was. It was fantastic. So, um, with that, we got news on. Speaking of Roman Reigns, we got news on his cousin, his boy. And speaking of final bosses, we have the guy that jacked the nickname from Roman Reigns. Even though it wasn't an official Roman nickname, it was Roman's nickname.
It was,
Um,
it was Roman's identity. He was the final boss, and he just fucking took it
and
from
this
him.
idiot stole it. According to Andrew Baydella, because there is a lot of rumors going around of The Rock wrestling at Mania 42. Guys, please.
It's 43, guys. You got the Mania part right. You got the number wrong.
Yeah.
I think
Got
it's
the number and
Mania
the year wrong
43.
and the place. Yes.
Exactly.
So, he states that The Rock is not wrestling at this year's WrestleMania. To clarify, like I said, the rumors that The Rock will be at Mania 42 in Vegas this year. The big offer under discussion is for next year's Mania in Saudi Arabia. There appears to be hesitation about proceeding, given The Rock knows this will likely be his last match. Thank God. Did you think that The Rock would show up at WrestleMania 42 this year?
No, not in the fucking slightest, man. Anyone who
But
put
you didn't
faith,
see him
put stock in
wrestling?
that. No, no, I didn't even show. I
What?
dead ass didn't even think he was gonna make an appearance up to this Mania. I could have maybe seen the classic, Rock make one appearance, do fuck all, and then fucking tease shit that's not gonna happen till next year. That was at most the appearance I could have seen from him because he can't help himself. But no, I did not see him wrestling at WrestleMania. And 43, it's just a perfect place, and that's just a perfect final place. He's not around enough to have, multiple, matches leading up to a final match or whatever. He's just not. He needs that one last one, and you could call it a fucking day, man. And The Rock, and it sucks with The Rock because he's kind of like a Brock, where on paper, and if, he cared to show up, he would be literally the best thing on television every fucking week because
Hmm?
just he genuinely is that special when he actually cares to show up. But like Brock, he doesn't fucking care. So I don't care, man, because he doesn't care. But it sucks that you have two people in such a great career point in their lives, especially The Rock. Like, dude, that final boss character
Oh,
is so gold, man. They had all the potential to really make him
yeah.
like the big brother of the company with the eyes looking down watching it could have been so perfect, but he just didn't care enough to show up. So it really, I don't give a fuck about him. But man, I do, you just think about like all the what ifs with the final boss. It's insane, dude. It's insane. But no, I do not see
Yeah.
him. I did not shocked that he's not going to be at WrestleMania 42.
The big brother of the company, and one story that could have been really dope had they told it correctly is the big brother that Roman Reigns did not want. Um, I loved the dynamic between the Rock being in the bloodline and Roman kind of being shocked by it. But it was just they had such great potential for that story and what they could have done with, again, the Rock coming in and being this like big brother to Roman Reigns that Roman never asked for. I think would have just been
Hmm.
tremendous, man. And they had a lot of room to tell that. However, I'll give you guys this. There is a possibility we do see Rock at Mania 42. In uh not a wrestling sense, he will do the most Rock thing. And again, I'm not even putting stock into this, but I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt. If we see The Rock at Mania 42, which overall I don't think we will, it'll go like this. Roman will win a championship, and The Rock, doing the most Rock thing ever, will come out, face off with Roman Reigns, and basically announce a year in advance, you and me next year, like he did with Cena. They announced at 27 that this is Rock and Cena's the main event for 28. That is what I can see happening. But even at that, I feel we see The Rock pop up at the end of the year, if anything, which actually was one of my predictions in 2026, is that we will start to see The Rock acting like he cares a little bit more because he knows that Saudi money is on the way. So they're gonna fucking back up the Brinks truck for him, and that's why we'll see him again. But um, even at that, like I said, I see it more late this year or early next year. But if we do see Rock at Mania at all, it'll be a tiny little appearance like that where they just announce a year in advance, you and me next year. But even at that, guys, no, I don't think The Rock will be at Mania 42. And again, you guys got it right. He's going to be at Mania, but it's not going to be 42, and it's not going to be in Las Vegas. It's going to be 43, and it's going to be in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So The Rock is no, he's not going to
I'll
be
be there.
wrestling at Mania 42 this year.
No, exactly.
Speaking of WrestleMania 42, in the most random piece of news ever, according to WrestleVotes, WWE has an internal push to showcase Liv Morgan as the centerpiece of the women's division at this year's WrestleMania. Several inside sources spoken to want her featured prominently, perhaps in a singles capacity.
Way.
Um,
It's not like she got her own surprise appearance in the WrestleMania commercial.
uh I mean, this is cool. I think Liv is great, but if you look at the landscape, I would assume Becky Lynch wins the IC title back from Maxine Dupree, and then we get AJ and Becky. I'm assuming we get Bianca Jade. And then for the
Yes.
women's world title, is your Mania match Vac and Liv? Because I was under the assumption they were building to Vac and Ripley.
That's the thing. Like, I was under unless they fucking just turn it into a triple threat just to get Liv in there, which like why? But
Yeah.
like I wouldn't be shocked. But those were all the projected WrestleMania matches I seen. So maybe they do like a non-title, but like WWE non-title isn't big WrestleMania stuff. So I would assume that means title related stuff. If it doesn't mean title related stuff, I would assume Roxanne, but like I have no clue, dude. That's kind of weird to me. Because I like you said, I assume we were getting back her and Rhea. Um, maybe they just shoehorn her in.
Maybe, unless the women's IC title goes the direction of, like you said, maybe like Roxanne versus Liv for the women's IC title, and then we just get AJ Becky as a singles match, maybe. But
See that?
I don't know. But again, kind of random. I don't know where this comes from at all, being that they just sort of use Liv in the basic Judgment Day formula right now. So I don't really know where that comes from, but regardless, yeah, it looks like Liv is going to be a centerpiece of the division come WrestleMania.
Go.
Speaking of Liv Morgan, Dominic Mysterio. We obviously coming out of the AAA show last week heard that Dom was injured, and according to Uncle Dave, Dominic Mysterio found out he does not need surgery. That was what I was told, is that they're looking at 3 to 4 weeks. So it's not a long-term thing. He should be back for the Rumble. The timeline is fluid, but 3 to 4 weeks is the number he got from the doctors.
Okay, that's not bad. Back by the Rumble, right at the start of Mania season for whatever the fuck he's gonna do. People have fucking hope of a Finn Balor singles push now for some reason because bro's been posting stuff, but I hate to break it to y'all, it's not happening.
No.
But that is good for Dom. That's good for Dom.
It is. I'm glad it's not a lengthy injury. I'm glad it's not a lengthy injury, and it's something that should be taken care of rather quickly. Um, what the fuck does Dominic do at WrestleMania? Do you do? I mean, I would love if they did
Well, I
Finn,
think
but
that's the thing. Like, I would love it, and I guess they gave Finn one of those off-screen fucking
they
interview
did. They
promos on
did. It was
Raw,
great.
where they and yeah, it was great, and he was like going in, and he was like really like cool Finn Balor again, but like I have no faith. I don't have an
None.
ounce of faith in that. So that's the thing. Like on paper, you can do the Prince and Dom. That's some dope shit. But I don't trust them to do that. If that makes sense. So maybe this is the they turn shit around. Maybe they regain some trust, man. But we'll see with that, man. But good injury news for Dom nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it is it is good that Dom does have to deal with a shorter injury rather than something that would have kept him out for an extended period of time. However, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I would obviously love to see Finn make a singles push, and he did look dope in that promo, but I I've lost faith. I've lost faith in Paul Levesque, and that's on the shoulders of Paul Levesque that I've lost faith in him. Everything up and down from Drew McIntyre to LA Knight to Finn Balor. I can't trust him, and yeah, I as of right now, man, I genuinely don't know what the fuck they do for Dominic at Mania at all.
No, I really don't.
So, we got news on Sheamus. According to PW Insider, Sheamus has underwent successful shoulder surgery. As of right now, there is no timetable on when the Celtic Warrior will return to WWE. Would you rather take the Celtic Warrior or the civilian warriors of the conglomeration?
There's this the civilian warriors of the conglomeration. I would rather take the Celtic warrior. But it sucks for Sheamus, man. I really hope the best. And they can y'all just fucking give him the IC title in 2026 when he comes back, bro? Can y'all just get it out the way and just give it to the man? He's fucking Sheamus, dude. Just give it to him.
Bro, I think they could have definitely done that when I don't know, one of his greatest rivals, John Cena, was the Intercontinental Champion. They also could have did it a couple years ago, going into Mania 39 against Gunther. But what do we know? We're just we're just marks, right? But no, hey, we've been saying the same shit for years, man. Will Paul get it together? Probably not. So, yeah, wish Sheamus a speedy recovery, and I truly cannot wait to see the man back.
I can't wait.
So, according to Fightful Select, Michin has suffered a shoulder injury on the WWE Holiday Tour. Up until this point, we have no further update. We have no further update on the timetable for Michin's WWE return. This definitely sucks, man. The SmackDown Tag Division needs all the names it can get, and unfortunately, they just lost another one.
And they lost. Who is she with? B-Fab? Is that who she was with?
Yes.
Is that her on-screen homie?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I wish her the best, man, and the recovery, and hope everything goes well.
Speaking of SmackDown, we got Obafemi, who had vignettes recently air on SmackDown. And according to Body Slam, WWE officials were said to be unbelievably impressed by Obafemi's appearances on SmackDown and Saturday Night's main event. Sources indicate that officials view Femi on par with Braun Breaker. Femi is expected to be called up to the main roster very soon, which obviously you can see by him getting vignettes on SmackDown. I'm not sure if he got one on Raw, but this would be another name.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, this would be another name added to SmackDown, along with two other names, which are Trick Williams, which is said to be called up. Apparently, internally, he's already considered a main roster superstar. And then Joe Hendry. WWE's been impressed with Joe and are thinking about having him as a permanent SmackDown superstar at this point. And this adds to Obafemi, who doesn't seem like maybe he's going exactly to SmackDown, again with him getting vignettes on both shows. But it looks like he is in line for a call-up soon. How do you feel about Joe Hendry and Trick being on SmackDown, and where would you put Obafemi?
Trick. For Joe Hendry, I don't really care where he is, to be honest. He's probably just gonna do random shit on whoever they're gonna fucking put him with anyway. So there's that. But Trick, I think will be good on SmackDown. I actually like him on the same brand as Hayes. I think they could really do something with that. And I like Trick. I think SmackDown's a good place for him. I think with that fucking show being 3 hours, I think it's good. They got more people on there. And I like it. I like it, man. As for Oba, man, I'm in the most respectful way to Braun. It's good that, he's on the same, podium for them. but respectfully, he should be on a higher podium than Braun.
Ooh,
Respectfully, because he's just
okay.
that special and that different. And Braun's great. He really is. He is main event ready right now. I want to see it. But oh, but that is your next villain of the next fucking 2 decades, bro. That is your next final boss, dog, that you have. So, respectfully, he should be a little higher than Braun on the run sheet, but that is good nonetheless. And if I have a brand for it's most definitely SmackDown. I think SmackDown is kind of the default brand that needs people right now anyway. Raw's kind of got it set people overall, and SmackDown it's kind of fucking a desert of obscurity right now, so they kind of need people. And just Oba decimating Cody, man, I'd pay so much money to see that. It's probably not going to happen anytime soon yet. They're going to be a little annoyingly slow at times. Hopefully not, but we'll see how it goes. But overall, that was my thoughts, man. But I'm glad they look at Oba in a good way, man. I just think they realistically y'all should look at him in a little even grander way.
Okay. Okay. Uh, well, as for Joe and Trick, to be honest, I don't really care, about either of them, to be honest. But
Hear about the super senior man? He finally graduated.
he
He's
did
a
finally.
college now.
I am happy that the super senior did finally graduate. Can't really say I've always been a big Trick Williams guy, but as for Joe Hendry, I thought Joe Hendry was cool at first. Like when we first started seeing him in NXT, he had all the momentum behind him, and he had his fucking song behind him or whatever. Um, and ever since then, and again, the more I've seen Joe in the ring, and the more I've seen what Joe can offer story wise, it's not much. Personally, I just don't. I'm not really a big Joe Hendry guy. As for Trick, he's also another guy I think is kind of just a theme song. He can't really do anything else. He can talk. He can talk, but he's a theme song. He's a whoop that trick, and that's it. Um, as for Oba, Oba, I look at Oba in the complete opposite light. I think Oba is, I've said it before. Personally, I do think he is on par with the Braun Breakers of the world, and I love your vision for Oba. I do. But I think you can look at guys like Oba and Braun as those, like you kind of mentioned, the next big villains for the company, which is why I would keep them separate. And I would at this juncture put Oba Femi on SmackDown. I would want to keep him away from Braun Breaker. Um, whether you want to keep him away from Jacob Fatu or not is your problem to decide. But as for Oba, I obviously love the idea of him being called up. I think, there's so much thought of, Oba and him being called up, and, this whole WWE championship situation for WrestleMania going to Roman. I would love to see WWE put Cody against guys like Oba Femi at WrestleMania, just because I really think they're worth that much. Again, guys like Oba, guys like Jacob, guys like Braun Breaker are all in that same breath, for me, of just those younger guys that are going to be around for the next 10 years in your company, that you are going to want to be seated for their careers, man, because he's got a boatload of talent, and it is really just um all up to WWE and how quick they want to go about propelling him to superstardom, man, because it's there. It's definitely there, man. But he, um, excuse me, yeah, like I said, I would call him up to SmackDown. Let's see, SmackDown is one of those brands that definitely needs the names right now. And I predicted in the year 2026 we will at least see Oba Femi get a mid card championship, man. So that is what I would do with Oba. So I would say SmackDown for him, and I would call him up to be pretty dominant pretty quick, in my personal opinion, man. But yeah, that is the news on Oba Femi. But yeah, I think WWE, it's just a matter of using him that way. So we'll see. But hopefully they do right by the guy.
Most definitely. I really hope so.
So, according to Body Slam, LA Knight is expected to return to WWE TV very soon, as he could be back as soon as next Monday's Raw. Didn't
Hope
they
so.
just say he had a cracked sternum?
He had a yes, he had a correct sternum, and he's gonna probably be back like next week. Oh, they're funny, man.
What is he, fucking Wolverine? So,
I guess, dude.
with that as well, speaking of returns, Mike Johnson of PW Insider is reporting that there are some who expect Chad Gable back this upcoming week in Brooklyn as well.
Oh.
Well, how do you feel about Chad Gable and LA Knight coming back, and who do you have more faith in WWE to book halfway decently?
In neither of them, actually. I think LA Knight's gonna come back and be right back to where he was, fighting a faction that he's outnumbered and probably gonna get whooped on them more than likely every week. So that's just great for LA Knight, man. Hopefully maybe they switch it up and maybe I don't know, do fucking something to know with them. But who knows? Who knows? They plan to have a better year for LA Knight than he had in 2025. I mean, it'd be fucking pretty hard not to. So, yeah. But as for Gable, man, we were talking about Jericho coming up through the Upside Down, man. Maybe it's Gable. Maybe they run a thing where Gable walks into the Upside Down as Gable, but comes out as El Grande. You know, maybe,
Holy
maybe.
fuck.
Um,
They would do some shit like that.
they wouldn't do some shit like that. But I am glad both of these guys are coming back. I love them both individually, but I just have no faith in the company to book either of these men. So happy they're coming back. Excited for that, but also at the same time it's Triple H and WWE, so not much faith.
Yeah, not much at all. Who am I more excited for? I guess Gable. But these are two
Yeah.
guys that WWE have notoriously booked horribly. But I'm interested to see what exactly they have Chad Gable do. I'm assuming he's going to be in the mix with the El Grandes, but we will have to wait and see on that. As for LA Knight, the reason I'm not really excited for LA Knight's return is because they have all they've done is bury the guy. I mean, why the fuck would I be excited for LA Knight to come back at this point? At this point, for the sake of his character, I would just rather him fucking stay away at this fucking point. So I don't know, but we could be seeing these two guys at Monday Night Raw this upcoming Monday in Brooklyn, and all I can hope is that Triple H does his booking justice this time around, both of them.
I fucking hope so.
So that is the news on Chad Gable and LA Knight and their booking. Or and their returns, I mean, not their booking. Their booking's a whole other fucking discussion. So,
Yeah, literally.
a number of WWE pay-per-views have been made available on Netflix, including every WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, and SummerSlam. Without any formal announcement, WWE has quietly moved their library over to Netflix. Well, I guess this answers the fucking question that people have been asking for a while, is what's going to happen to the tape library? And I guess they just quietly moved it over to Netflix.
funny, but also concerning because I haven't checked it yet. But I'm hearing that none of ECW made
Yeah.
it to Netflix, and that's the thing that I'm scared about. Is like, oh, you want to watch WWE old stuff? Go to Netflix. But guess who's gonna get the old ECW stuff?
Hmm.
Fucking Peacock, and then guess who's gonna get the fuck man?
Yeah.
All is NXT a part of that deal? Is NXT stuff on Netflix? That's all I care about. Can I watch 2018 NXT on Netflix?
That's a great question. I will have to. So far, the only thing I seen was a bunch of old main roster stuff. So,
I think that's what do we say, man? Exactly what we said. Looks become different is going to be on different platforms, man. So they're gonna
yep,
obviously they're the main shit that most casuals will care about on Netflix. That's smart. But they're gonna want to divide it up like everyone does, and I'm just very curious to see where everything else is gonna go, man.
100%. 100%, man. So, yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens to the rest of the tape library, but we've already kind of been hip to the fact that WWE does not want an exclusive platform. They want their shit to be everywhere. So they want as many deals as they can possibly get. So we're in for, or if you want to watch old ECW or old whatever, it seems like it's going to be placed very it seems like it's going to be placed in all different places just to make our lives even easier. So wonderful. With that, according to bodyslam.net, the WWE and TNA partnership is expected to continue until at least 2028.
Because that's when at least all the people they want contracts will
Yep.
come up and they can snag them. That is literally, dude, the second they get most of everybody they want, they are going to drop them and it's going to be hilarious, bro. Either
Oh,
that
yeah.
or they're just going to buy them. But I feel like they're just going to drop them, which will be even funnier.
Yeah. Mm. I could very well see them buying them. Now that you
I wouldn't
mention
be
that,
shocked.
I could very well see them saying, we already kind of took all your names, so you kind of have no
Might
value
as well.
anymore. So what maybe
Yep.
maybe them stealing all their big names is just so they can say, well, you don't really got much value, so maybe a way to get a cheaper price out of them for buying the
I could
company.
see that.
I could
I
very
could
well
see
see
that.
that.
Bleed them dry.
Yep.
Buy the cheapness of what's left and send them on their way, which is a very WWE thing to do. No matter what, by the 2028 TNA, it's going to be basically null and void in terms of relevancy. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know what that TNA creative is like thinking they're doing with this. I don't know if they know they're getting blood dry, and maybe that's their plan is just to cash out at the end of all of it. But
Yeah.
man, I mean that's what Heyman did with ECW, and man almost got popped for it. So y'all better be careful.
Yeah, he definitely did. He definitely did. But
He
yeah, man, I mean,
legitimately almost got.
like you said, man, I just don't see I don't see a world where, it makes sense to TNA to just get this ransacked by WWE and be okay with it and not understand or not see what is really going on here. I mean, it's very obvious that WWE is they're running you dry, and this partnership again will end with them either A, stealing all their talent, B, buying the company, or C, all of the above. So it's inevitable. It's like Obafemi. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen, and it is I guess just an unfortunate situation for TNA. But this is kind of what happens when you get in bed with WWE. You either get bought or you get fucking bled dry. So
So don't know what they thought was gonna happen. Like this hasn't happened to at least two other major wrestling companies with WWE in the past. You literally have two massive examples of that. But TNA. Who knows? I do think it is, big management in there. I think they just want to cash out and fucking and be done with everything.
I could very well see that. And for our final story today, according to Body Slam, WWE wants Jacob Fatu to have a breakthrough year in 2026 and it was set to slowly begin before he had to undergo dental surgery. Fatu is currently expected to return to WWE TV in the early stages of 2026. Okay, so they say a breakthrough year. What does this mean to you, and how breakthrough do you think this year will be? Do you see WWE really, pun intended, going all gas, no brakes with Jacob Fatu, or do you think it's going to be the typical Triple H, pump the brakes, no gas?
I think there will be gas, but I think there's going to be a speed limit on that gas. He's not taking the expressway. He's not going fucking 70, 80 plus. He's taking some major main streets, man. He's going at max 55, maybe if you're feeling frisky, 65. But I think he's going to have a good year. I think it's going to be a Triple H breakout year, which means bigger storylines and a mid-card title to eventually, in the next year after, be put in the world title scene, especially with everything in Mania 43, what they're going to do with like Rock and Roman and all that probably bloodline related stuff they're going to drag into it. I could see that being his real breakout, year is 2027. I don't think they're gonna do nothing with him in 2026. But like I said, I think it's going to be a Triple H breakout year, which they're going to use him and they're going to like him, but they're not going to go crazy with him. But they're still going to quote break him out. So I do see it in a way, and I am excited because I think no matter what, he has the skill to make it good. Jacob Fatu is amazing in the ring, on the mic, whatever it is. On the mic, I really hope they let up on the catchphrases and let him actually do normal promos like he's amazing at doing.
Yeah.
That's my only really concern going into the year creatively for him is they're just gonna do the whole catchphrase thing that they've been doing. But I think he is gonna have a good year. But like I said, it's gonna be a Triple H breakout year. He's gonna get like a mid card title again, and then maybe like he's gonna peek into the main event scene, but he's not gonna like win anything major for now. I think 2027 is gonna be his main event breakout year, but I still think he is gonna have a good 2026 overall. But what about you?
Um, I could see that as well. So, what I think, I actually don't think he's going to win any mid card championships this year. However, what I do see for Fatu is, like you kind of mentioned, the Triple H breakout year. I think he's going to have him be feuding in that upper main event scene, get title matches, but never win them. I had a prediction on Unscripted this past Tuesday of Fatu winning King of the Ring. It was a bold prediction of mine. I would love to see him in those main event scenes. Again, you put him against a guy like Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. I think that's a huge fucking marquee match for 2026. But you can do stuff like that with Fatu, but I feel like they will do stuff like that with Fatu, but never win anything, because I don't see him winning a world. Maybe towards the end of the year, if maybe he moves brands and there's a different scenario, I could see him winning, a world championship this year. But like you said, I could kind of see his world championship leap year being 2026 into 2027. I feel that, again, I feel like they're gonna put him in the main event scene to test him, because Triple H loves fucking testing people. I feel like they're going to put him in the main event scene to test him in 2026. He's going to feud with a bunch of main eventers, get a bunch of world championship matches, but never win them. But I feel in 2027 is when we will start to see him, winning world championships and all that type of stuff. Like I said, unless the landscape changes and he moves over brands, then I could see that. But with the current way things are now, I really see 2027 being the year he takes that world title leap.
100%. Exactly. I'm in the same boat. I think to Triple H, he's going to be going crazy with Jacob Fatu. But again, to Triple H, that's just, you're in the main event scene. You're just not winning the title right now. That's a big push for Triple H, and that's a breakout for Triple H.
100%. So, yeah, man, that is everything. That is everything we got here today for you all. For episode, the final 200s episode for NHP.
Crazy.
This has been episode 299. Thank you guys so very much for an amazing series of all 100 200 episodes. It's been awesome. It's been amazing. Next week, bro, we enter the 300 class, and that is just wild, man. But thank you to the 200s. It's really been a ride. It's been awesome. Thank you to everybody who's came along. Truly, man, thank you guys for your support. Can't thank you guys enough, man. And man, I'm so excited. So excited for episode 300, man. I really am.
So pumped, dude. It's crazy. We're going to hit week 300, man. I'm pumped. It's wild. The 200s were great. And I think the 300s will be even better, man. So I'm very, very excited. Very excited for that episode specifically for other reasons, man. But very, very excited for everything going on, man. Crazy. We're hitting 300 and still doesn't feel like we've hit 300 episodes. You know what I mean?
No.
It's crazy, man. I love it. It really doesn't.
That is an elite class of consistency. So
Exactly.
man, with that being said, thank you guys so very much for an amazing series of 200s. Being in the 200s, man, it's been awesome. We've grown so much from episode 200 all the way to 299. We've really grown so much, and we have you guys to thank for it, man. So with that being said, that is going to do it for this edition of NHP Unscripted, or NH. That is going to do it for this episode of NHP 299 and not unscripted. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Again, we will see you all tomorrow. As you can see on your screen, I'll play it up for you guys one more time. We got the preview show tomorrow. Open voting will begin Saturday, January 3rd, tomorrow, 2026, at 3 p.m. Central, man. Open voting begins, and we will be revealing those nominees for the 11 categories that I showed you all earlier. And man, you're not going to want to miss it, man. I always love year-end awards, love revealing the lists to you guys that we have came up with, and hope you guys like them, man. So yeah, with that being said, it has been a pleasure for Johnny.
And I, Sir K.
That is going to do it for this edition of episode 299 of NHP. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. And with that, please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you all tomorrow with the Notorious Heels 2025 Year-End Award Preview Show.
Peace.